Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you will be set free from your health problems when you become your own health coach. I'm Dr. Aaron Ernst, and I'm here today to inspire, to coach, and guide you to living life to your fullest health potential. And I love that we get to spend the hour today talking about one of the most common, overlooked, major causes of what is, according to the research that I've been finding, 80 to 90% of all health issues. I'm talking about heart disease, diabetes, MS, Parkinson's, neck pain, back pain, headaches, you name it, thyroid issues, whatever's going on. You may have what's called chronic inflammation. And it's such a simple term, but it has such a massive implication to our health that I want to take this hour and help you to solve this beast called chronic inflammation. Listen, I'm just going to put you this way. Every single person alive today must deal with inflammation at some level in their life. And the recent research is now suggesting that they're even terming it inflammaging. Not just inflammation, but inflammaging, meaning that you are aging yourself faster the more you're inflamed. So if you want to be vibrant and alive and youthful and full of energy and have glowing skin and whatever it is you're looking for, lose weight, get off the medications, have your life back, all of the above, you must wake up to a simple word called inflammation, learn all about it, know where it comes from, and most importantly, know the top things you can do to fix it, which of course, guess what we have developed for you today? This show is actually for you. Okay, do I know about inflammation? Yes. Do I know the top anti-inflammatory herbs? Yes. Do I know the diets you should use for inflammation? Yes. Do I know where it comes from? Yes. But who cares about that, okay? I can take care of myself. I want to help you become your own doctor and your own physician. We're going to talk today about the tests that you probably have already had run on your annual physical that will tell you if you're inflamed or not. And you might be scratching your head going, well, then why hasn't my doctor explained that I have inflammation? And they may not know how to read the test the way I'm going to teach you. And they have medications that are anti-inflammatory, so it's just very easy for them to say, if you're inflamed, here's an anti-inflammatory. It makes sense. Take this for that. Just like diabetes has diabetes medications, and heart disease has heart disease medications, and blood pressure has blood pressure medications, medicine, conventionally, is a take this for that world. And in the last 14 years of being in practice, what I've seen is when people consult with us, they'll say, Dr. Ernst, I'm just tired of taking this for that. And there has to be a better way. And there is. And so according to Harvard Medical School, they say, quote, I'm going to read this to you. Chronic inflammation plays a central role in some of the most challenging diseases of our time. Rheumatoid arthritis, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, asthma, and even cognitive decline. So the big boys at Harvard are saying, hey, the root cause, central role, inflammation. And in the last 10 years, I'm going to say that we're starting to pay attention more to inflammation, but yet most of you probably haven't left your doctor's office with them saying, well, John, the reason why you have high cholesterol is you're inflamed. Or Mary, your thyroid's off because you're inflamed, and here's what you do to fix it. So just understand, new research is going to take 20, 30, 40, 50 years to hit it. That's why functional medicine is such a great thing to incorporate into your life. You become the doctor. You learn about what you need to do. So what is inflammation? Okay, technically, inflammation is a reaction that your body has to some sort of foreign substance, bacteria, pathogen, infection, you name it, physical trauma, a cut, a bruise, a stubbed toe, or toxicities. Pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals, etc. The challenge here is I'm not talking today about the acute stuff. Take a hammer and bang your thumb, it's going to become inflamed. Okay, but in about 2 or 3 days, it's going to go back to normal by itself. Thank God you have this ability to manage acute inflammation. I'm talking about the chronic inflammation that lasts for months or years that leads to heart disease and cancer and immune diseases and arthritis and neurodegeneration and. So we have a massive show for you today. Massive show. And listen, I've got a little bit of energy today. I just finished a webinar not that long ago, so I'm coming in hot. And I want you to know that we're going to repeat a brand new series on destroying diabetes in less than 6 months. So if you, a loved one, or someone is dealing with diabetes, high blood sugars, high triglycerides, some sort of issue with your blood values, sugars especially, join me on the 27th of this month. It's in 2 weeks, 10 a.m. in the comfort of your home. 704-906-2094 is the number to register. 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Ever been to the beach and you want to bottle up the feeling of relaxation and take it home with you? Lake Norman Salt Spa offers just that. In just one 30-minute session, you are immersed in a climate-controlled salt room with pure pharmaceutical-grade mineral salt, similar to sea salt. One 30-minute session is like going to the beach for the entire day. You not only receive the anti-aging benefits of the salt like you would at the beach, but you're also benefiting from recharging your body's natural battery. The standard American lifestyle exposes you to toxins and stress, which drains your battery, accelerating the aging process and developing disease. You can recharge your battery by surrounding yourself in an environment that is negatively charged, like mineral salt. The more negative ions in your system, the better you feel, and most importantly, the better you heal. On top of all these amazing benefits, the therapy is done in a completely sterile environment. Call the Lake Norman Salt Spa today for 50% off your first session. Call 704-997-5890. That's 704-997-5890.
Sterling believes in the science of CBD. Here's 3 great reasons to choose Sterling CBD. Reason number 1, Sterling is pure CBD. Sterling CBD is made from pure CBD isolate. We remove all the THC and unnecessary compounds, leaving only pure CBD. Reason number 2, backed by science. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, has approved CBD for U.S. Olympic athletes, but they only approve pure CBD, like Sterling CBD. Reason number 3, our organic hemp is FDA approved. At Sterling CBD, we quality control test at every manufacturing stage. We start with organic hemp plants and track them to our FDA-registered food-grade extraction facility. Our pure CBD products include capsules, isolates, lotions, and oils. We even have CBD pet products. You can find Sterling CBD at drernstscbd.com. Use the coupon code Dr. Ernst for 20% off your order.
People are the heart of Jordan Essentials, and our products are the cornerstone. 100% of the population needs skincare in some shape or form, and of course there's a lot to choose from. So what makes Jordan Essentials different? We often like to say it's what we don't put in our products. We avoid harmful chemicals and pack our products with natural, botanical, beneficial solutions for you and your family.
How come there are people who drink a pint of whiskey a day for 20, 30 years, and at the end of it only 20 or 30% become cirrhotic? What happened to the others? And we speculated, we hypothesized, it's the enzyme, alcoholic dehydrogenase made by the stomach. Maybe it's different, maybe it's genes, maybe it's polymorphism. Mm-hmm. The answer appears to be coffee. If you drink that much alcohol and drink 1 cup of regular coffee a day, 20% reduction in alcoholic cirrhosis risk, 2 cups 40%, 4 cups 80%. It's not a license to drink heavily and drink coffee and protect your liver. You know, you could still get Korsakoff psychosis, cardiomyopathy, pancreatitis, kill people on the road, ruin your marriage, but it does protect the liver. It's pretty amazing.
Here's a secret your grocery store does not want you to know. At ThriveMarket.com, get up to 50% off all your organic groceries, delivered to your door for free. Shop organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, and paleo. And get a free jar of coconut oil. Thrive Market. Wholesome products, wholesale prices. Get your free coconut oil today only at ThriveMarket.com.
Welcome back. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and I love that we get to spend the time today talking about your health. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free when you become your own doctor. And the topic of the hour is this single phrase called inflammation that might sound something simple, but yet it has a massively profound effect against your overall global health. Harvard University released a report that said chronic inflammation is the central role cause of almost all of the challenging diseases of our time today, including arthritis, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, asthma, and even neurodegeneration. So we're going to unpack what is inflammation, where does it come from, what kind of things would it do to our body, and I'm going to be just absolutely transparent with you. If you're taking a medication for any condition, you're inflamed. If you need to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds to be healthy, you're inflamed. If you're tired and fatigued and forgetful, you're inflamed. If you have a diagnostic condition that might not necessarily mean you're taking medications, gingivitis, mouth sores, chest pains, whatever, you're inflamed. And inflammation is a root cause of major health issues. And unfortunately, our healthcare system says, well, our solution is to give you anti-inflammatories. And while they might work at making you feel better, they don't fix the underlying root, sort of the fire, the cause of the inflammation. So we're going to break that down for you today. And I want to let you know there's no part of your body that is sort of safe and or protected from inflammation. Research has shown that your brain can become inflamed, and it is the leading cause today of neurodegenerative disorders. So things like depression and Alzheimer's and cognitive decline, even Parkinson's disease. We do know that your cardiovascular system can become rapidly inflamed, not just the heart itself, but the vessels. And the new research is suggesting it's not cholesterol that's clogging your arteries. It's the inflammation that brings damage to the tissues that causes the cholesterol to sort of fill in the gap. And we know that as your vessels become inflamed, you're at a higher risk for heart disease, stroke, even other issues that are related to your blood. Listen, thyroid, okay, if you're taking Synthroid, levothyroxine, Armothroid, Nature-Throid, or some sort of natural thyroid supplement, 99.999% chance you're inflamed. And it's not just inflammation in your thyroid. The newest research is suggesting your gut is inflamed, and it's leading to an autoimmune state that actually goes and attacks your thyroid. What about lung inflammation? I'm going to say across the board, the most common is asthma and other breathing or obstructive disorders, chronic obstructed, and also what I'll call sort of the restrictive breathing patterns. Muscles can become inflamed. And listen, that's going to show up as pain, number one, but also the tendons of your muscles. So carpal tunnel and or rheumatoid arthritis or joint inflammation. Your gastrointestinal tract can become highly inflamed. And this is something that most people have, but they don't realize that their symptoms are stemming from an inflamed intestine. It usually can lead to things like acid reflux, inflammation, Crohn's disease, inflammation, celiac, inflammation, leaky bowel, inflammation. Bones can become inflamed, and that can lead to, again, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis. By the way, if you're in that group of 60 plus and you're worried about the strength of your bones, rather than drinking more milk and taking these supplements and vitamins that are supposed to grow new bone, if you know what I'm talking about, decrease your inflammation and your body will take care of your bones for you. In fact, if you broke a bone right now, it would grow back together again, would it not? And that doesn't matter if you're 99 or if you're 9. It's always going to grow back together. So if your body has the capacity to build new bone when it's broken, it can build new bone now. But if you're inflamed, it won't do that. Your kidneys can become inflamed, and this happens a lot, especially people who have kidney stones or chronic infections or high blood pressure. Huge. So many of us think it's our heart that's inflamed when in fact your kidneys can be inflamed. Kidneys are more important with blood pressure than a lot of people give credit to. It can also result in constant kidney infections or urinary tract infections. Skin can become inflamed. It happens a lot. Many of you get dermatitis or eczema or rashes or acne or wrinkles or fine lines. The skin is actually inflamed. I think one of the most common, but yet the most unsensible, you can't feel this, is organ inflammation, especially within your liver. Your liver can become inflamed. It starts to fill with fat. It's called fatty liver disease, and that leads to chronic metabolic dysfunction, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood sugars, high everything in your body, enzymes, etc. So inflammation has scientifically been linked to affecting every single part of your body. So where is it all coming from? And in fairness, it comes from multiple sources, but I'm going to try to hone them down into 2 or 3 major categories. Category number 1, major cause of inflammation. The food you eat can either be the greatest anti-inflammatory on this planet or the strongest inflammatory. You either hold at the end of your fork healing power or destructive power. And I'm sure you are aware of some of the comments I'm going to say about our foods, but just listen to this, okay? And this is coming from multiple sources, including the Arthritis Foundation, the National Institutes of Health, and other major players in the world of healthcare, Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, you name it. Number 1 inflammatory food, and this is something that all of you eat every single day, and I'm not saying that you're sprinkling this on top of your food, but it's in it, is sugar. Be careful for the amount of total carbohydrates you eat on a daily basis. Yes, we need some sugars, but the average person consumes the entire day's worth of sugar in just their first meal of the day, breakfast. Okay, most adults need, at the most, maybe about 50, 60 grams of sugar, and that's usually what we find in your average bagel. So the one bagel that you had for breakfast, the bowl of oatmeal, is your entire day's allotment of sugar, yet you're going to have snacks and eat lunch and eat dinner and have. Also, we have to watch out for the types of sugar we're eating. Fructose has been found to be one of the highest, most inflammatory sugars out there. And guess where you find fructose? Fruit. Yet, Dr. Ernst, I was told I need to eat more fruits and vegetables. Okay, that's the conventional phrase. I'm going to say you should just erase the word fruit and just say I need to eat more vegetables because they are anti-inflammatory. The fats that you put in your body, we talked all about this last week, and the proteins, if they're inflamed, if they're from a corn source or they're high in omega-6, which is the inflammatory oil, they're going to make you inflamed. So, guys, guess what that includes? Cookies and donuts and crackers and butter and margarines and processed foods if they're conventional. Now, can you have grainless sources of seed crackers? Yes. Can you have grass-fed raw butter? Yes. But if you're eating classic food products, they're going to be extremely high in inflammatory agents. Same thing with the oils you cook with. We talked about this multiple times. If you're using vegetable oils and corn oils and canola oils and cottonseed oils and soy oils and peanut oils, all of those vegetable-based, sort of seed-based oils are highly inflammatory. The research is out. They're loaded with something called omega-6 fatty acids. And if your omega-6 acids are high, you're inflamed. Refined white grains, so that's things like wheat and rice. They actually have been found to increase an inflammatory product in your body. And listen to this, it's called an AGE, an AGE, Advanced Glycosylation End Product. We said at the top of the hour that if you're inflamed, you're going to age faster, inflammaging, where they're finding it's all based upon the amount of refined white flour or carbohydrates you get from rice and wheat. That's why gluten is on the list. That's why casein, which is a dairy-based protein, is on the list. That's why artificial sweeteners like sucralose and aspartame and Splenda are on the list, okay? You can go to AskDrErnst.com and find the list of inflammatory foods, and I want you to do that so you can at least have a guide. But now what I want you to understand is here's some simple things. How do we discover, A, how inflamed are we? Okay, there's some simple blood tests for it. Now, you may have had these tests and your doctor's never reviewed them with you, but let's just be upfront and outright and honest. If your blood sugars are slightly high, you're inflamed. If your fasting blood sugar, which they do on every basic CBC panel out there, is over 100, you're inflamed. A1C is a measurement of the amount of blood that has sugar wrapped around it such that it has a hard time carrying oxygen. If that number is north of 5.7, you're inflamed. So you may have had them done and they came back normal, but your doctor wouldn't have read it to you because that's not technically diabetes. So you're inflamed. There is a marker that I would recommend you guys ask your physicians to put on their test every single year called CRP. It stands for C-reactive protein. It's a test of direct inflammation. When your body's inflamed, your CRP levels climb. If your CRP is north of 1, you're inflamed. If it's over 3, you're highly inflamed. If it's over 50, you have a massive inflammatory issue. And you'd be amazed how many times we see people 6, 8, 10, 12, and they go, no one has ever tested this for me. Now, in a moment, I'm going to share with you how do we solve these inflammatory processes. Okay, another test you can do is called homocysteine. It measures your total body inflammation. Normally, you want to see it less than 10. So if your homocysteine is high, if your C-reactive protein is high, if your blood sugars are high, those should all be red flags for you to go, I have inflammation. And if you stick around till the next segment, we're going to talk to you about how to switch that fast. Some of the adaptogenic herbs you can use that will drastically bring your inflammation down faster than anti-inflammatories, faster than aspirins and Advils. It'll take your pain away. It'll give you tons of energy. You basically can start to lose weight and you'll feel great. Okay, so now, here's the thing. I want you to pick up the phone and call this number, 704-906-2094. What you're doing is you're registering for my webinar, which is in 2 weeks on the 27th. It's on conquering diabetes, inflammation, fixing blood sugars, inflammation, solving triglycerides, inflammation, and helping your body to bounce back fast to get off medication. 704-906-2094 is the number. Call it, text it with your name and your email, and we'll get you registered. Don't go away. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We'll be right back.
Ever been to the beach and you want to bottle up the feeling of relaxation and take it home with you? Lake Norman Salt Spa offers just that. In just one 30-minute session, you are immersed in a climate-controlled salt room with pure pharmaceutical-grade mineral salt, similar to sea salt. One 30-minute session is like going to the beach for the entire day. You not only receive the anti-aging benefits of the salt like you would at the beach, but you're also benefiting from recharging your body's natural battery. The standard American lifestyle exposes you to toxins and stress, which drains your battery, accelerating the aging process and developing disease. You can recharge your battery by surrounding yourself in an environment that is negatively charged, like mineral salt. The more negative ions in your system, the better you feel, and most importantly, the better you heal. On top of all these amazing benefits, the therapy is done in a completely sterile environment. Call the Lake Norman Salt Spa today for 50% off your first session. Call 704-997-5890. That's 704-997-5890.
Today, Monticello has a population of 126. It's a small enough town, everybody knows everybody. There are no stoplights in Monticello, so if you're driving too fast, you're going to miss it. But if you happen to turn in, you're going to run across a great Protestant church that has services every Sunday morning. You can go to the post office, and the postmaster's name is Randy. He's always glad to see you. Everybody in town knows everybody. When you walk in the bank, you're called to by your first name. You're not just an account number. We've started the business there 10 years ago, and very slowly and surely we've built up a business that actually reaches out and touches all 50 states and several foreign countries. At the turn of the century, diabetes was almost non-existent. But if you turn the clock up 100 years to 2000, we have a runaway epidemic of diabetes. When I went to school, nobody had ADD. I mean, you look at the modern school today, you've got kids taking medicine, and this is all driven off a diet. And it's so simple just to get back to the foundations of good, healthy diet, and by consuming, grass-fed beef, organic vegetables, getting away from processed foods. This is a paddock move. These animals are coming into this paddock. This has been at rest for probably 30 days, and as soon as they come in here, you can watch their habits. They're going to put their nose down. They're going right after high quality forage.
What I've done here today is give them a fresh strip of grass controlled by this tape over here. This has given them a very consistent ration from day to day. This is an example of what they're getting to eat right now.
But you can just observe the humor of the animals. This is the happiest time of the day. I call it ice cream and cookies. Looking down on the ground, on the landscape here, we have a lot of clovers. We've got annual forages, perennial forages, and a lot of the native forages have come back. The blue stems, the Indian grasses, they're much more prevalent in June and July, but the old seed stock is here. But if we manage the landscape like it should be managed, 25% of the public has never heard of CLA, but it's one of the best kept secrets in agriculture in these grazing animals. You get it from grass-fed beef, grass-fed lamb, grass-fed bison. And you might ask, what does CLA do? A very unique compound, one of the best things you could consume from the standpoint of cancer. It's very effective against cancer. It's very effective against diabetes. Research out of Purdue has documented that. A lot of animal trials, now human trials. And most interestingly, it actually helps the body put on lean muscle and reduce fat. 90% of the cattle in this country or more end up going into a commercial feedlot where they're slowly converted from a grazing diet over to a starch diet. When you fill the animal full of starch, you completely change the chemistry of the finished product, and you end up with an omega-6-3 ratio 20-1, 18-1, and the CLA production is almost nil because of the starch diet.
I don't think that you can beat this example right here where the sun's energy is producing this grass, and this grass is producing these cattle without having any antibiotics, growth promotants, or grain fed to them.
Grass-fed beef is a unique opportunity for you to take control of your health. I've taken control of my health over the last 10 years. I feel better, I feel stronger. Our animals eat right, so you can too.
Purity Coffee is setting a new standard for healthy coffee. We lab test to be free of pesticides, mold, and mycotoxins, and we roast for high antioxidant and low acrylamide levels. When it comes to your coffee, purity matters. You will be able to taste and feel the difference. For first-time customers, we are offering 15% off new orders with the code YouTube. A lot of our customers say that purity makes them feel as good as it tastes.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and I am very, very excited that we get to have this conversation with you today. I'm hoping that the topic, inflammation, is going to help you to break free from the underlying issues of your health issues. If you've been taking medication for anything for any duration of time, you are inflamed. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, thyroid problems, digestive issues, arthritis, neck pain, back pain, fatigue, adrenal issues, the list goes on and on and on, even into cancer and diabetes and heart disease, then you're inflamed. And what I want to help you with today is a raw understanding of how did this come about, what can we do to fix it, and then more importantly, what are some alternatives that you can use instead of some of the medications that you've been taking to deal with things like inflammatory pain or inflammatory disease. We talked at the top of the hour that the number one source of our inflammation is the food we put into our body. What you hold at the end of your fork can either be an anti-inflammatory or it's a pro-inflammatory. And I think one of the greatest things we can do right now is start learning how to shift our diet into an anti-inflammatory pattern. Now, if you want some direct information and even some guides that will give you the top anti-inflammatory foods, even some recipes that support it, or even, listen to this, an entire ebook that is free with a cellular healing anti-inflammatory recipe pack and diet guideline, where should we go? AskDrErnst.com. It's all free. It's under the download section. Click it, you've got it, and you have an endless amounts of information for you. Number one thing to do with your diet would be to switch over to a highly anti-inflammatory healing diet. And it starts with recognizing that sugar is the primary source of inflammation. So we want to cut carbohydrates. That's not just sugar directly, but it's anything that turns into sugar. So grains, so wheat, corn, rice, oats, soy, etc. We want to get rid of the vegetable-based oils like Wesson and canola and corn and peanuts and start switching them over to more of the naturally higher sourced plant oils, avocado and coconut and olive oil, etc. We want to increase our intake of the highly anti-inflammatory foods, vegetables more so than fruits. We want to make sure that our meats are either grass-fed or free-range or wild-caught. And more than likely, what a lot of you need to do is start incorporating some sort of an intermittent fast or some sort of a pattern to how you eat your foods. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions about this idea of eating 6 or 8 or 10 meals really starts to help you to lose weight and heal. It might in a short period of time, but a big player behind inflammation is constant blood sugar spikes. It takes the average adult 2 hours to fast down their previous meal that they ate. So if you're eating every 2 hours, all you're doing is you're bumping your sugar and your insulin up. Every 2 hours, it comes down, you bump it up. It goes down and bumps it up. That variation in sugars is a major player to your inflammation. So a lot of you just simply need to skip eating certain meals or put tremendous amounts of time, 4, 6, 8 hours between your meals. We also want to reduce our exposures to toxins. We know that toxins can directly affect organ function. And not only is our food high in toxins, but our life is high in toxins. All the products you use, from shaving creams to deodorants to lotions, etc., you need to go to the website and switch out using our guides on how to replace your common products with natural, homemade, or store-bought products that are non-toxic. Another thing to do is recognize that one easy way to flush inflammation out of your body is to physically flush your body. And that results in usually superhydration. We talk a lot about this as being a method of either water fasting or broth fasting. Physically taking a day, 2 or 3, where we don't do anything but drink water or broth, which is a special type of water that you've made with bones of either beef or chicken. This level of water fasting or water flushing will do 2 things. It will excessively hydrate the organs in your body, fill them with fluids, and most organs then will excrete all of their waste into that fluid product, and then it comes out either through your sweat or through your urine. We can also help you to get more movement and encourage you to sweat more or to get your body to start urinating more. We want to also make sure that we focus on healing your gut. One of the biggest areas of inflammation in most people is their intestines. And why is that? Well, they handle all the food you put in your body. They handle all the medications you put into your body. They handle anything that you swallow. And most of us are on a daily basis swallowing inflammatory foods, or we're taking medications for our health conditions that are coming from the inflammation that we have, and we're just consistently pouring gas on this fire that we want to calm down. So what we need to do is start switching you to some alternatives. I'm going to begin this list when we come back from our next break because it's so massive that I want to make sure we have the time dedicated to give you all of the adaptogenic, the top 15 anti-inflammatory nutrients and herbs you can use right now to control this beast called inflammation. And again, if you're listening and you know someone or yourself that you're struggling with the medication, you've been taking it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and you're going, surely there has to be a way out of this. Perhaps it's something for diabetes, high blood sugar. Perhaps it's a cholesterol medication for high cholesterol or high blood pressure. I'm hosting a webinar Saturday the 27th, 2 weeks away from today. It is on solving diabetes, inflammation, and the diseases that we tend to take medications for, high blood pressure, cholesterol, etc. You can join me for that webinar. It's absolutely free. It's in the comfort of your home by calling 704-906-2094. You can also text your name and your email, and we'll register you for free. 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. The best is yet to come. Don't go away.
Ever been to the beach and you want to bottle up the feeling of relaxation and take it home with you? Lake Norman Salt Spa offers just that. In just one 30-minute session, you are immersed in a climate-controlled salt room with pure pharmaceutical-grade mineral salt, similar to sea salt. One 30-minute session is like going to the beach for the entire day. You not only receive the anti-aging benefits of the salt like you would at the beach, but you're also benefiting from recharging your body's natural battery. The standard American lifestyle exposes you to toxins and stress, which drains your battery, accelerating the aging process and developing disease. You can recharge your battery by surrounding yourself in an environment that is negatively charged, like mineral salt. The more negative ions in your system, the better you feel, and most importantly, the better you heal. On top of all these amazing benefits, the therapy is done in a completely sterile environment. Call the Lake Norman Salt Spa today for 50% off your first session. Call 704-997-5890. That's 704-997-5890.
Sterling believes in the science of CBD. Here's 3 great reasons to choose Sterling CBD. Reason number 1, Sterling is pure CBD. Sterling CBD is made from pure CBD isolate. We remove all the THC and unnecessary compounds, leaving only pure CBD. Reason number 2, backed by science. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, has approved CBD for U.S. Olympic athletes, but they only approve pure CBD, like Sterling CBD. Reason number 3, our organic hemp is FDA approved. At Sterling CBD, we quality control test at every manufacturing stage. We start with organic hemp plants and track them to our FDA-registered food-grade extraction facility. Our pure CBD products include capsules, isolates, lotions, and oils. We even have CBD pet products. You can find Sterling CBD at drernstscbd.com. Use the coupon code Dr. Ernst for 20% off your order.
So this is the difference between biodynamic and conventional farming. Let's look at the difference in vineyards here. You have very green grass and herbs and life growing, and then dead soil over here. So this is a conventional vineyard where they spray pesticides, they use a lot of tractors to pull up the soil. This soil is dead, it's dry. There's no life. This is Klaus's vineyard. It's farmed biodynamically. Everything is picked by hand and they don't use any chemicals. So there's life, there's green grass, everything grows. This is the big disparity between conventional farming and biodynamic farming, and you can see it perfectly side by side. We prefer this wine, of course, because this wine is dead. There's nothing living in it.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dr. Aaron Ernst. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show, where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. Today we're talking about inflammation. And I'm getting now to the nitty-gritty, the best part. Usually we save it for the end so I can see who's been paying attention the whole time. And we're going to give you all of my top anti-inflammatory nutrients that you can use every single day, in addition to your diet change that we just talked about, and solving this beast called chronic inflammation. If you're just now tuning in, Harvard Medical School put out a report saying that chronic inflammation is the central root cause of the most challenging diseases of our current era. Rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, asthma, neurodegeneration, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, Parkinson's, etc., all caused by one simple thing, inflammation. But not the acute kind, like we talked about. Stub your toe. Nope, not that kind. Become a weekend warrior and overdo your back and have an inflamed, disc and some tight muscles. No. We're talking about that chronic inflammation that's been burning at a low level for a long period of time that literally drains the strength of your immune system and prevents you from being able to heal by yourself. The reason that we get these major players is chronic inflammation affects every single square inch of your body, from your brain to your organs to your skin to even things like your liver, thyroid, heart, you name it. So if it's such a big, ominous beast, the one question that I got over the commercial break from a listener was, why isn't my doctor testing for this? Well, they probably are, but they're not using the right metrics for their tests. Okay, we have medical levels of tests, right? It's almost kind of like, do you have enough inflammation to have cancer? Oh, yes, you do. Oh, my God. Well, so we found it. But if your inflammatory scores are low and you haven't been diagnosed with something yet, you haven't had that label placed on your body, then they're not going to mention it to you because to them it's in the normal ranges, because a lot of us are normally sick, if that makes sense. So we did talk at the top of the hour about several tests that you could beg or ask your doctor to run. CRP, C-reactive protein, is an inflammatory score. If it's over 1.0, you're inflamed. Homocysteine is another inflammatory marker you can ask for. And if you're over 9 or 10, you're inflamed. You can look at your blood sugars when fasting. If it's north of, say, 90, 99, you're inflamed. If your A1C is elevated, so you would have diabetes, for example, already fully labeled type 2 diabetes, taking medications, of course you're inflamed. But if it's over 5.7, you're inflamed. We talked about how our diet is one of the number one sources of inflammation. What we put into our body can either heal it or cause damage to it. We discussed the areas of our diet that need to change. We mentioned about cutting out carbohydrates, removing grains, changing our oils, increasing our vegetable intake, not our fruits, because that's sugar, making sure our proteins are grass-fed or wild-caught, and doing some water fasting, literally flushing the body out, almost as if you're pouring an excess amount of water in so that you can just let the floodgates open and let it all flow right out. Now what I want to do is shift over to my top anti-inflammatory nutrients. These are things you can add to your diet supplementally that can drastically help you to reduce your inflammation. And specifically, I'm going to show you how each one is targeted to some side effect of being inflamed. One of the most common symptoms of inflammation is your blood sugars start to go north of 90 to 99, and eventually your doctor starts having that conversation with you. Well, Mark, it looks like you're a pre-diabetic. Or John, it looks like you have type 2 diabetes. And then you might even say, well, I've already been told I have that. I'm taking metformin, glucophage, Actose, and I even need to inject insulin. All because you never dealt with the chronic level of inflammation present. Ashwagandha is an extremely well-known anti-inflammatory herb that has the ability, listen to this, to reduce cholesterol, reduce your insulin sensitivity, meaning your insulin actually works better, and it has been shown in research to help reduce blood sugar levels in people with diabetes. Why? It's not a ashwagandha for diabetes, it's ashwagandha for inflammation. And as your inflammatory scores go down, your body has an easier ability to regulate its hormones, insulin, and get the sugars to respond. Research also shows that it can actually help with adrenal fatigue and boosting your immune system. Ashwagandha is in herbal formats, supplemental, teas, sometimes even tinctures, and it's an exceptional way to just add an herb to your routine that can help you with your inflammation. Another one is called Calendula. And now this may be one that you go, calendula, what? I've never heard of this, okay? Calendula is a very highly powerful anti-inflammatory, often found in tinctures or teas. So you might have to go get it as a little liquid supplement that you can put under your tongue and swallow it, or a tea that you can drink on a regular basis. The anti-inflammatory power of calendula comes from something called linoleic acid, which is found in that flower, actually, and has been found to help with decreasing inflammation of the gastric system, so gastrointestinal. And because that's the root for the majority of your immune system, there's research evident pointing out that gastric inflammation can lead not only just to acid reflux, but other major conditions like thyroid disease, heart disease, even obesity. So calendula is a great one. Cilantro. It's something you can eat directly. You can put it directly into your foods. You can even juice cilantro and have what I would call sort of cilantro shots, if you will. Little ounce or two and just down the hatch it goes. Cilantro has a massive anti-inflammatory property that in research has been shown to reduce both liver and even cancer-related inflammatory conditions. Part of the reason for this is cilantro has the ability to decrease toxins. So it can remove heavy metals and pesticides and herbicides from your liver. And something as simple as taking a bunch of cilantro, passing it through a juicer, and drinking that, or using it in your cooking will help to decrease your inflammation. Another one that works exceptionally well is oregano. Again, it's a spice, very easy to use, but oregano has been something that has been used for at least the last 1,000+ years as medicinal properties. It is known to be an anti-inflammatory for bacterial-related infections. So it tends to help clear out things like your sinuses and your lungs and also even your blood. Most of the time when you're using oregano oil, it's in an essential oil format. So highly condensed oils that you would use 5, maybe 7 or 10 drops, either orally directly and swallowing it, or putting it into a veggie capsule or into some hot tea and drinking it. Oregano has been shown in research to fight the inflammation also associated with arthritis, atherosclerosis, so hardening of the arteries, and diabetes, which is, again, another big player for inflammation. St. John's wort, something that you might say, oh, that's my grandmother used that. What am I going to do with this? Well, St. John's wort is an herb that has a dozen or more active substances that are extremely anti-inflammatory and also even what I would call sort of healing. And they have the ability to be an active anti-inflammatory, and St. John's wort helps to regulate hormones and also has been shown to be extremely anti-inflammatory for skin tissues. So if you're having things like dermatitis or eczema, you might try using St. John's wort to help clear the inflammation within your skin. It also has been shown in research to help elevate mood and boost your energy while also fighting depression. And that's also another thing that we tend to see. When inflammation starts to go after the brain becomes inflamed, and it's difficult for us to regulate our neurotransmitters. So serotonin goes south on us. We start to feel a little down in the dumps, etc. Vitamin D, exceptional for being an anti-inflammatory, partly because vitamin D regulates over 1,000 different genes and is involved in roughly 6,000 metabolic pathways in your body. We often see people with high levels of inflammation have very low levels of vitamin D. And often your vitamin D levels need to be 2, 3, 4, 5 times higher than where they currently are. I find a big challenge. Most medical physicians don't include vitamin D on a standard CBC, partly because they will say, well, insurance doesn't cover this, or there's just no needed test for it. Yet when we test patients who work with us, 9 out of 10 of them fail the basic vitamin D test. The average adult needs to have at least 60 or higher on a score for vitamin D when you get your blood done. And typically we'll see 17, 19, 20, 25. If you're taking vitamin D, it's really important to understand 2 things. It must be in a blend that is combined with vitamin K. Otherwise, you won't be able to absorb your vitamin D. And you need to make sure you're taking it based upon your body weight. So rather than just running out and saying, well, I take 2,000 units, I must be good. Well, 2,000 is for like your average 9 or 10-year-old. Okay, most adults need to take somewhere between 5 and 10,000 units of vitamin D every day. And we use it every day, so your body's always in a need for vitamin D. Glutathione. Oh, this is one of the most powerful antioxidants and also anti-inflammatories. Glutathione is found in a lot of naturally occurring vegetables and herbs and spices, including things like turmeric and even cinnamon, broccoli, cauliflower, kale. Mostly your green vegetables are going to be high in glutathione. And glutathione has this incredible ability to go in and clean your liver out. It helps to upregulate antioxidation, which also is a side effect of being inflamed. You may know that turmeric and curcumin are sort of that massive spice that has been shown in research to replace up to 80 different medications when used properly. Curcumin is an exceptional anti-inflammatory. So there we go. We have a tremendous list and availability for you to control your inflammation and take that beast and just strangle it so that you get your life and you get your health back. I hope you found today's information to be informative, helpful. If you're looking for more resources and guides, visit AskDrErnst.com. Everything is there in the download section for free. And if you have a current condition like diabetes or high blood pressure or cholesterol and you want to solve this animal, join me for my webinar in 2 weeks at 27th, 704-906-2094 is the number to register. That's 704-906-2094. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, bye-bye.